And once again, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the continuation of the LCL finals, the second game. Once again, I'm Faik Shorty Aliyev, and this is my brother
Emil
from the
Poo Aliyev.
same mother, Emil Poo Aliyev. And we're here to watch what's going to happen in the second game, because this time around, this is Vega Squadron who's choosing the side. They chose the blue side, so we're not going to see probably Unicorns of Love getting Garen Yumi shenanigans in the bot lane. And we'll see how Vega Squadron is going to adapt, because the first game is going to be, and I'm going to quote Morty's son from the Raising Gazorpazor episode of Rick and Morty, death, destruction, and domination.
And let's go into game 2, by the way. Draft.
Draft is here. Vega Squadron is starting once again with Irelia, as was done in the first game. Unicorns of Love were banning away Karma, Silas, and Karthus, and Karthus is going to be the first ban once again. This time around, if the bans stay the same, I'm pretty sure we will see something like a Yumi from the Vega Squadron side. Corki is now getting banned away, as well as Silas from Unicorns of Love.
So that's an adaptation from Vega.
This is the first adaptation that we've seen from Vega Squadron in the series. They don't want to deal with No Man's Corki.
And Yumi ban.
Yumi banned, so it means that Vega Squadron do not want to pick Garen Yumi for you or Yumi with anyone at any point in this game. So that means that a lot of stuff is still open. Once
and it's
again,
a very crucial game for Vega, because if they lose...
Ooh, Karma banned. Syndra is open. Syndra is open. Last time around, it was the Syndra ban from Vega Squadron, and we know...
What's up with Syndra picking?
This is a flex.
Yeah, on bot lane and mid lane, right?
Yes.
Okay. She got recently buffed, right?
Yes, she actually received a series of buffs, I would say, in recent patches, and she's strong. And this is once again a flex, and Unicorns of Love are responding with the Vega Squadron strategy. They get the Aatrox for themselves and Xayah, and I'm assuming that Rakan is sure to follow his loved one. We'll see what Vega Squadron decides to answer it with, because Aatrox is still a flex.
True.
And we pretty much know the bot lane from Unicorns of Love. So
Maybe
where's going to
Gragas?
Syndra go?
Like some blind pick jungler. Ooh, Renekton. Instantly.
If they're able to flex Renek into any lane, then that makes sense. Even though it's hard to decide where the Aatrox goes, because Aatrox is on the red side, so the flex can be kept till the very end of the draft.
I feel like Aatrox is not very good into Syndra mid lane, and into Renekton it's kind of okay matchup, so Vega kind of dealt with Aatrox already, because both of the solo laners are fine into that. Are Unicorns of Love gonna skip Rakan?
I'm sure not. I'm pretty sure they don't need to pick the jungler here, because everything is open, basically, except for Silas, which is anyway a bad matchup into Elise. And I'm happy to see Krayox on something proactive, because his... I would say that Olaf was one of the problems in the previous game, because there was almost no pressure. He got the early dragon, but that was it. And then there was the show of Ananasic, and we actually see that Unicorns of Love are skipping Rakan. We see the fight between mascots right now. I mean, guys, keep it together, please. This is just the second game. Pyke is banned away, which should go good with Syndra. We know how this combo works. The same thing as with Kha'Zix and Garen. There is a lot of damage up front coming from Syndra, and then Pyke gets to execute someone, and he gets snowballing in a team fight. Akali is going to get banned away by Vega Squadron. Right now, it looks like it's going to be the Syndra in the mid lane, which makes the top side of Vega Squadron extremely scary, because it's Renekton Elise, the combo, and the Syndra, who basically gets lane priority in every matchup.
Well, I think that Syndra... I don't know about her recent buffs, but before that, Syndra used to have like Echo counter pick, Fizz counter pick, and yes, she gets me prior pre-6, but after 6, they get huge kill potential on her.
Yeah, she's still an immobile mage, control mage, and in the side lane she just dies.
And I feel like Unicorns of Love have a good choice of AD carry. I mean Xayah, because she works really decent into Elise and Syndra because she has access to her R after level 6. She can dodge Cocoon, she can dodge Syndra's ultimate.
And
So,
Syndra's stun, more importantly.
Yeah, I feel like Inax is playing his comfortable champ.
Right now it should be fine, but this is the moment when the Vega Squadron actually decides where Syndra is going. Unicorns of Love are keeping the mid lane pick for the last one to see where the Syndra is going
Draven
first.
Braum?
Draven.
I think like Braum is really... Oh,
How
okay.
about Draven Morgana?
Yes, that's very good into Xayah. Now Nautilus, but actually I would prefer Braum even more than Morgana because I feel like...
Ooh. And we're gonna have Gragas Yasuo on the side of Unicorns of Love, which honestly makes it so scary for Syndra. She just has a target painted on her back.
True, but what I'm thinking that Unicorns of Love team pretty much is full AD except Gragas, and Santos is playing Morgana. So basically, only Gragas can destroy her spell shield. So Draven will build Tabis and will be pretty safe against the Unicorns of Love composition. No?
That is true, but I have to remind you that Draven works off kills. If he doesn't get snowballing, if he's not able to cash in his passive stacks, the adoration, then he's pretty much losing in terms of scaling to Xayah. And even though this is a complete counter pick of support, we know that Morgana loves playing against those engaging type champions because she can abuse her Black Shield. I mean, that's going to be probably Draven who's going to be abusing the Black Shield, but still, it kind of feels like that the draft of Vega Squadron is all about snowballing the lead from the lanes, because if it doesn't happen, there's so much side lane pressure that there's like Vega Squadron has no business dealing with. There's a small mix-up with the teams. It's actually Unicorns of Love on the blue. I mean, Unicorns of Love is on the red side, and the Vega Squadron is on the blue side. There was some mix-up with the champion picks, I think, and we're into the game. The second game of the LCL Finals, Summer 2019. Vega Squadron versus Unicorns of Love. Let's roll.
I feel like Vega got what they wanted. They got an early pick that can snowball really hard. They got good matchup in jungle, good matchup on bot lane, and semi-bad matchup in mid lane. But I think like Yasuo in competitive gaming is not the same as solo queue Yasuo, and he won't apply that much pressure on Syndra early on anyway.
This is a nice skin on Morgana.
Yeah.
This is the old recolor of the classic skin, which looks great, by the way. Anyway, yes, we are talking about Yasuo, which is probably the main question mark in this setup. But he does have the Ananasic on Gragas, which is arguably one of the best picks for Yasuo to go along with in the entire game, because the knock-up is very easy to land and from a great distance. And Syndra is in a mobile carry, so whenever Gragas has the ulti, or even he doesn't need the ulti, he just needs the E-flash combo.
Yeah, also Yasuo has Aatrox on his team who got 3 procs of Q that works with Yasuo's R, and he got Nautilus. Point and click, knock-up.
Yeah, to be fair, with the picks that we've seen in the very beginning of the draft, I feel like Yasuo must have been banned before the Akali, even though Akali is arguably stronger as a champion than Yasuo. Whenever you have Syndra, I'd say that you don't want to deal with Yasuo at all.
Yeah, but I feel Akali got banned because of magic damage she provides. Because if we're looking at Unicorns of Love team, full AD, but Gragas, and if Gragas falls behind, or he needs defensive items like Zhonya's Hourglass, he won't deal that much of a damage. And if Doxy builds Tabis, Creox builds Zhonya's, Gadget builds Tabis, they won't have very much damage until their power spikes, like 2 items on Yasuo, Inex, and Aatrox.
Still though, we expect Vega Squadron to play aggressively in this game, starting from the lanes actually, and this is what we're seeing right now. We see that Santos and Gadget are pushing the lane. We saw Doxy pushing up his lane in the top side of the map, and right now Syndra is doing okay. The wave is in the middle, even though Nomans has some time to run around in the river, but that means that the wave is gonna stack, which is actually great for Nomans. He wants the lane to push into him. He wants Syndra to be in a vulnerable position against Gragas, who will have the E-Flash combo and an ASIC. Oh,
Ooh,
Eka failed! Eka failed miserably in this moment. He couldn't stun and knock away an ASIC, and he loses the flash for that. Those are some on-stage jitters, man.
Yeah, I agree. And Gragas is already level 3. So in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, he'll be level 6. He will have access to his ultimate, and Eka is in a big danger. Playing
I would say
Syndra without
Eka
flash.
is very dead when he has no flash
Kraox
against
is
Gragas.
invading.
And ASIC is not gonna go for it. I feel like they have the info that Kraox... Oh, or actually, the stun connects. There is some burst damage, but Nomans is gonna be taking care of his
Santa's
jungler.
coming.
Santas is there, and this is gonna be it for this exchange right now. No flashes or any sort of summoners used, which is good for Vega Squadron and for Unicorns of Love as well. The invade was inconsequential, I'd say. It was basically the assertion of dominance from Kraox, who played aggressively onto an ASIC to show that he was able to steal the top side, I mean the
Bot side
blue
first.
side, the bot side jungle of an ASIC when an ASIC was doing the gank. But this is the advantage of the red side jungle, right?
Look at the bot, look at the bot.
Ooh, there is damage coming in.
Ooh.
The nice feather storm. I mean, the what's it called?
Zayas E.
Zayas E, yes, by Inex. Nice try with a flash, and Gadget has to flash in response, and that means that they have to go back a little bit. Now, Boss has to disengage from this turret because there is the opportunity of a dive, and this is the best setup for diving that we have probably in the top side combos. When we talk about top and jungle, probably Kled on the least is even better because Kled can also ditch the turret aggro. But this is the exact play that Unicorns of Love did last game, and they were prepared for it. They know what's gonna happen when the wave is stacking in the top side of the map, and Boss just left the turret. Yes, he lost a bit of farm, a bit of XP, but this is much better than dying and still losing a bit of farm and a bit of HP. I mean XP. Because when you die, you lose a lot of HP. Actually, the complete health bar.
Inex just came back from reset. He got 2 long swords, while Gadget is still in lane. I think he's fishing for BF sword. Nice shield.
Oh, nice flash from
And Root.
Edward. The Root is there, and Gadget is very, very dead. And Santos has to flash away from the belly bop by Ananasic. Very nice play by Edward. Santos had to use the Black Shield on himself to cancel the hook, and that means that the flashless Draven is just gonna die with the root of Edward.
And he bought Vampiric Scepter because obviously he didn't have gold for BF sword, and that's a disaster for Gadget because playing versus Xayah and Nautilus, you're not playing sustain lane. You need
No, of course, they don't have... They're not
don't
gonna
have poke.
poke you. Yes,
Yep.
they will go for all in.
So buying Vampiric Scepter is... it's not a mistake, of course he had to buy some, but it's just bad for a Draven lane.
Yeah, this is suboptimal, I would say. Suboptimal gold in the pocket. Kraox, he's gonna stun Ananasic. Ananasic
Edward
is
is
gonna
here.
stun by Discoteca. A good repel. Kraox is gonna survive.
Yeah,
Ananasic
disengage.
now has to run away. He is waddling slowly away from the Spider Lady. The stun connects onto Nomans now, and the ulti is there, and the W is not hitting, unfortunately. A nice stun, but that's not gonna be enough. Nomans and Ananasic both survive this onslaught by Vega Squadron. Kraox is not done. He's still lurking. He's still looking for something in the mid lane. Nomans, he has the wall right now. The stun does not
Ooh,
connect.
Eka.
Discoteca doesn't have any mana, and that means that Nomans can go for a kill himself. The Q is there, then the ulti, but Kraox is gonna get
cleanse.
stunned. Good cleanse by Nomans. And now
Boss
the
is here.
boss is there, and he's gonna just murder Discoteca, and now Kraox has to flash away. Doxy, can you fight 1v2? I don't think so. He has to slice and dice away as well, and that's another kill for Unicorns of Love.
Very, very impressive play from Nomans and very good rotation from Boss.
Good rotation from Boss and Edward here as well. We see that Unicorns of Love are just better when it comes to rotations, yeah, when it comes to doing something as a team. Let's see the replay here. Discoteca didn't have any mana. He didn't hit the stun in the previous moment. Noman's ults and cleanses immediately. That was almost Captain Jack's cleanse. And now Boss is there. And actually, that was a TP from Doxy because he was late on this rotation. And unfortunately, Eka is already dead at this moment, and this is a kill for Boss, who was trailing behind in terms of CS, but that kill is gonna compensate for at least a couple of waves of farm.
Yeah, and I know that in competitive League of Legends, it's team to blame, obviously, but in this particular moment, I feel like Doxy should like scream at his team that Renekton, or I mean, Boss will be faster. Boss will be faster. Don't dive. Wait. They chose to dive. Eka used his mana pool, Eka failed, and this happened.
Unfortunately for Vega Squadron, yeah, the dive looked promising, but the damage wasn't there, and we know that Noman still had cleanse and the flash, so I don't think
and
the dive...
Gragas was nearby, they knew that.
Yeah, so I don't think so. I don't feel like that was a correct idea to dive. Now Noman's is constantly pushing, Edward is rotating with Inex, and now they're gonna go for an invade in the bottom side jungle. He checks the bush with the hook, gets rooted in place with a dark biting. And now this is just an invade of sorts, where they get some of the raptors, not all of them.
Small chickens.
The chickens, yes. I mean, stop making me hungry, come on.
Look at the gadget build. Is he going for first Death Dance on Draven instead of Bloodthirster?
I mean, Death Dance is gonna... Death Dance. Death Dance is gonna help a bit against all-ins, because it kind of diminishes the burst damage that you get.
Yeah, it's a very good item on AD carries, but still, like, first item, Bloodthirster gives a lot on Draven. Like, a lot.
Actually, I want to, like, point it out that there is a new build on Draven that
Halo
is...
Blades Murama?
Yes.
Yes.
Halo Blades Muramana Draven that is lurking around the Korean solo queue in High Challenger, which the idea is basically a very simple one. Draven likes flat AD a lot, and Muramana is the most effective item. Meanwhile, Discoteca is getting engaged on, but Creox is there. That means that Discoteca should be safe. Ananastic and Nomans are not going to go for the dive here. But the situation becomes more and more dire for Vega Squadron, because we said that they have a draft that is looking to get some advantages early on in the game.
Yeah, they need tempo to do something on the map. They have Draven, they have Renekton, they have Lise. They need to do something, and by now they're equal in gold, but just because of farm on top lane.
That was a very bad cocoon from Creox, and Doxy even used his ultimate. Unfortunate for Vega Squadron, they cannot find anything, and Nomans just dodges away from the Dark Binding, and that means that he should be K. So yeah, what you gonna do when you need the tempo, but you have no tempo? We know that Aatrox, it's a bad matchup against Renekton, but it's not like he is useless against Renekton. And Boss knows this matchup very well, as we said before. He's gonna be way more useful if they're ending the laning phase on equal terms, especially when it comes to team fights. And right now, Unicorns of Love are grouping on Herald, and I don't think that Vega Squadron can do anything about it. Actually, maybe it's a good idea to not force anything in this area, because you know that the opponents were the first ones on rotation.
Yeah,
maybe you can get something in return, like a couple of plates in the bottom
Boss will
side.
TP bot, I think, to save a couple. Yes, he's TPing bot to save plates. And he has to be pretty careful, because Elise obviously going to dive him. And Gadget is biting him.
Harassing him under the turret, and the ulti is gonna come in as
Boss
well.
is dead.
Good binding from Santas, and now Creox cannot miss his cocoon. That's gonna be the first kill in this series for Vega Squadron. Unfortunately,
Not
I don't think
Draven.
Vega Squadron can get the first turret, because there's a Herald helping Unicorns of Love. Or actually, no, they're gonna be the first ones. And this is a great play from Vega Squadron. Finally, we have something to praise them for, because this is what happens when you choose to play through bot side. Vega Squadron chose to leave the gadget in the bottom, so that he can farm up a bit more, and when boss comes, we're gonna dive him. And that was a great play by Vega Squadron, and they get the advantage in terms of gold.
True, but I'm still worried about how the bot lane went overall, because Draven is up 10 CS. He didn't cash his passive, and Xayah already has a Sense River, and Xayah is way better than Draven later on.
That is true. That is true. And this is the problem with Draven, actually. I mean, you want him to cash in his stacks, otherwise he's just worse than Xayah. And I mean, this is how the mechanics of the game works, right? If Draven was better than Xayah even without the passive, then he would have been on the top of the meta. He's not. He is the character that is very self-centered, you know? He wants the team to play through him. Unfortunately, in this game, with the great play from Unicorns of Love in the bottom side, he got killed, he lost some of his stacks. The lane didn't go as well as it could have, especially when you counterpick with a support like Morgana. You want the lane to go well, you know? I mean, Morgana does fit in the catch composition that Vega Squadron has. The flash from Kreux, but it's going to be dodged away. But now Nomans has to flash away, but it's too late. He's going to get punished by Discoteca, and now Doxy's there. The entire Vega Squadron is there, but that's going to be just one kill. And now they can continue on with the siege and try to get the mid lane turret. Unfortunately, no. The barrel says no from Ananasic. Doxy wants to go further. Right now, the Spiderlings are actually doing the tanking for Vega Squadron, and they get a lot of damage dealt to that turret. Nomans used both his summoners, but that wasn't enough.
Yeah, Kreux only used Flash, I think. Yes, so they traded Flash for Flash and also Cleanse. Nice ultimate for Ananasic to clear the wave. And I feel like it's a stalemate.
This is the classic handshake, I'd say, from the teams. They don't want to overforce in this situation. So Kreux used the flash to bait out the Featherstone by Xayah, but even though the Xayah didn't, I mean, Xayah wasn't hit with any CC, then I think there was a stun from Eka that came into the play with the ulti, and Nomans was assassinated by Vega Squadron. Now they're ahead by 1.4k gold.
And Unicorns of Love bot lane don't have flashes. They used it in that fight, so they have like 3.5 minutes to maybe play around that.
Oh, this is what no one's gonna do this game. This is what Yasuo does. He's just gonna be split pushing. This is not the classic solo queue Yasuo because he doesn't have enough deaths for that. But that's still the Yasuo that we learned to love in the pro play. He's gonna be split pushing, and I don't think right now anyone in Vega Squadron can actually answer him. Even though Doxy is probably one of the few champions that can, you know, withstand some of the pressure from Yasuo in the early game and actually apply some pressure of his own. And we actually have seen a lot of mid lane renekton's as the answer to Yasuo. I mean, Yasuo is not the most common pick in the competitive scene, but with a synergy with Gragas, that actually makes a very strong duo that can be even blind picked. And in this scenario, there was a good idea to go for those two picks with the mobile carry, I mean, against the mobile control mage in the mid lane. And right now, even though Eka is more or less even in CS and he has 1 kill, so far, I'm not that satisfied with his performance. He failed twice, and that set his team quite behind. Right now, Vega Squadron is actually leading in terms of turrets. They have destroyed all the outer turrets of Unicorns of Love. But this is not the end of the game, and Unicorns of Love are scaling way better, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. And look at Ananasic. Last 2 minutes, he was just shadowing Yasuo, and I think he'll continue on doing that just to make Nomans comfortable at split pushing. And I think that's kind of nice idea to play Yasuo Gragas like that side lane.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. This is how you want to set up your Yasuo with the Gragas barrel, which will allow him to ulti no matter who they hit. Right now, the hook connects onto Discoteca. He's knocked up immediately, and Nomans is there. A good knock-up from Edward, but it's not going to be enough to kill Discoteca. He has to flash away, but that's not going to be a kill. And I haven't even seen Nomans.
They only used ultimates in exchange of flash, so that's worth it for the side of Unicorns of Love.
Of course, that's much lower cooldown because Flash is around 5 minutes depending on the runes and boots that you use. And I'm pretty sure that Eka is not using the Cosmic Insight, or he's gonna go for the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. But anyway, 5 minutes of a Flash on an immobile champion, this is a very bad sign for that immobile champion, because then the next time, and this is just the Nautilus ultimate. We have another one to set up the Yasuo ulti, which is much lower cooldown. It's almost up right now. Actually, right now it's up. Which means that if Gragas hits his barrel, he's gonna be dead.
Bush.
Okay, Death Bush, and the damage is gonna be enough. That's Santas and Creox using their CC to pick up a kill onto Edward. The Dark Biting Cocoon combo is very scary when it comes to picking someone off, and that means that they can now push the mid lane turret. The wave clear is not there,
and they get it.
Ooh, actually the binding landed. That was like the max range binding, and that's the tier 2 in the mid lane that's going to be picked up by Vega Squadron. Very good play from them. This is how you play the catch composition, right? Somebody wanders off, you pick him up with your CC,
You
dark
get
binding,
objective after.
and you get the pressure, you get the numbers advantage, and you can do something. I don't think that Vega Squadron wants to go for full-on 5v5 team fights when it comes to mid to late game, but picking someone off like that, this is exactly their style, and this is exactly this composition.
And if you look at the picks, you'll see that Vega Squadron has 4 ranged champions against 4 melee champions. So after picking someone off, sieging is very easy task for the Vega squad.
Yep, exactly. And this is how they want to play that comp, right? They want to pick someone off. They want to utilize the vision advantage, the ability to pick someone off, because they have so much cash potential, and the upfront burst, because you have the Dark Binding of Morgana that's going to land on the huge distance. You have the Cocoon from Elise. You have the Syndra stun, and then you have the damage as well. Looks like we're going to have a small pause in the game. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. When we get the info why was the pause set up, we will tell you immediately. Right now we can talk a bit about the game, because that was the comp that Vega Squadron chose, the catch comp, the dominate your lane comp, which didn't go that well in the early game.
True.
Especially with the bot lane losing in a 2v2.
Yeah, Elise went top lane, and Ananasik had a window to punish bot lane, and he did that with the help of Inex, who played, you remember that E-Flash?
Yeah,
which got the Draven's Flash, and after that it was an easy gank. But after that, game was kind of not safe, just slow and steady. And the thing I'm thinking about is Draven passive. He didn't die after that, and all he was doing is farming all these passive stacks. So right now he has about like 400 gold maybe in his pocket to cash in. So if he gets a kill when they try to catch someone, that's a huge boost for the side of Vega.
That is true. That is true. And this is how you want your Draven to work, right? You want to get him ahead in terms of gold. Okay, so we now receive the info that this is Creox complaining about some problem with his setup. I'm sure that it's going to be fixed by the specialists of our studio. So yeah, coming back to the draft, right now it's very important for Vega Squadron to cash in those stacks on Draven, otherwise he's still gonna lose in terms of utility compared to Xayah, and we're gonna get back to the game, but a bit later. I thought we're gonna get back to the game right now, but that's not the case. Unfortunate. Anyway.
Did you check your soul build, by the way?
No.
The interesting. Oh, okay. You can check
We're
it right now.
back to the game, and we can. Ooh, the Q connects, and Anasik dashes forward actually, but there was a good repel from Creox, who flashes away immediately. We see the whirling death, and now Doxy is marked by Vega Squad. I mean, by Unicorns of Love. Bosses flashes in, but Doxy slices and dices away. It's very hard to cast because we've seen the other side of this matchup. I was constantly trying to call boss Doxy and the other way around. Anyway, Vega Squadron all survived. Creox actually had to use Flash, Santos as well, and Doxy as well, but they didn't manage to pick up a kill onto Ananasik. Ananasik just...
Yeah, there was some back and forth punching
away.
between the teams, but if we get the replay, you'll see how perfect Santos plays this moment. He used himself as a bait, so Zaya and Nautilus turned away from running Doxy, and he basically saved Doxy with his flash. So I think that Santos really saved a lot in this particular moment for Vega. But as I was saying, is that Phantom Bloodthirster build for Yasuo? Or is it just Vampiric Scepter just for the sake of lifesteal? What do you think?
I don't know, actually. I mean, usually we see a lot of crit build. I mean,
Yeah, like 2 core items.
2 core items with the Infinity Edge. Usually we see static. This time around, it's the what's it called? The
Fundamental?
Lifeline passive, the thing that has that we have on Serex, the Maw of Memorius, and the Phantom Dancer as well. So that negates some of the burst potential from Vega Squadron, who is getting the Cloud Drake, by the way, which is going to be helpful. Whenever we see a team that wants to rotate a lot, wants to get to be the first ones on rotations, this is very good. But unfortunately, Unicorns of Love have the Cloud Drake of their own, so Vega won't have an advantage. And the next Dragon is Infernal, and this is way more important, I'd say.
For both teams, yes.
All the teams are heavily focused on damage. We have some tanking potential on the side of Unicorns of Love with the Nautilus, but that's not the main tank, you know? That's not something like an Alistar. I mean, yes, you do have the Aftershock, but without the Aftershock, Nautilus is rather squishy, I'd say. But we have to realize that Unicorns of Love, they do have the catch potential of themselves, because the Nautilus ulti, because of the Gragas ulti. This is quite scary, actually. Oh, we see that Draven has 400 stacks on his passive. That's a lot. That's a lot. If he manages to cash it in.
To cash this in, right. What I'm thinking is that, again, time. I think the time works for Unicorns of Love because they have Zaya, Yasuo, and I think that Aatrox has better teamfight presence later on. So I think they need to stall. And what kind of might help them to stall is that the Vega Squadron got no Mountain Drakes, and their Nashor is, well, not very slow, but they don't have Kai'Sa, Cassiopeia. They have mediocre Nashor. And without Nash, if Unicorns of Love players aren't getting caught, they're Gucci at stalling, I think.
Yeah, it feels like even with the fact that it's a melee-centered composition from Unicorns of Love with 4 characters being melee, it's not the end of the world because Zaya has a lot of wave clear just built into her kit. Gragas is going to help a lot with the barrels, with the ulti if needed, and that means that sieging is not really an option unless you are in the numbers advantage. Unless you manage to pick someone off, maybe someone like Zaya. Another binding is not gonna hit, but the Syndra stun connects. That's gonna be a chip damage onto Ananasic. Right now, Vega Squadron are pushing the mid wave, getting the priority.
Look at the stopwatches. Look at the stopwatches on the side of Vega. 4 of them.
They want to fight right now.
Yes.
They want to fight right now, but for that they need to land 1 CC at least on someone. The wind wall is dealt with. This is a good sign because with the wind wall you can block any of the incoming CC. The Vega Squadron do not have a stable engage. All of the catch potential is CC based. I mean skill shot based. That's what I wanted to say. So they kind of have to utilize the vision advantage. Santos. Good, Black Shield.
Santos doesn't have flash. Okay, he gets away. Someone has to respond to bot lane wave that Doxy pushed. So Doxy has space to join his team, maybe, for some cheeky catch.
Something like that. Edward just walks away from the
Gadget!
Gadget, unfortunately, oh my god, he just got demolished by Unicorns of Love. The shield, the black shield was too late. Ekka is in a very poor position right now. The Ananasic flashes. Ekka didn't flash himself, and now Krax can only try to get a kill on Edward, but it's not gonna be enough. The stopwatch is there, then he flashes away, and now this is a very, very dead spider. She's gonna get squished by Unicorns of Love. That's 3 kills for Unicorns, and that means that they can go for Baron themselves. That was a very unfortunate hook. That was a very unfortunate hook for Vega Squadron. They just immediately destroyed Gadget, who had a flash. The Black Shield was not on point, unfortunately, this time around. There is some poke coming from Santos, and the ulti. Doxy, he's gonna get stunned. He goes in. Is it gonna be enough? No! Right now, everyone survives on the side of Unicorns of Love, and now Nomans dies. Oh my god!
Doxy!
Double kill Doxy! Can you do it? No!
But Gadget is coming. Gadget is coming. Maybe he can... Yeah, I think
he's gonna get a kill and a little bit of cash in from Inax, but unfortunately that's not something that you would be looking for, even though Unicorns of Love actually got only one Nasher out of it. I mean, only one Nasher buff out of it, because it was just the boss who survived that fight. That was a good try by Vega Squadron with Santos and Doxy walking in the Nasher pit.
Very good try. They got 4 kills. They got Infernal Drake.
They got 4 kills and the Infernal, as well as the cherry on top. I want to just, like, this is the moment when Morgana can shine, right? This is a very close quarters, the Nasher pit. She can just ult and utilize the Zhonya's. Renekton loves those fights as well because he can do a lot of AoE damage. But that was a 2v4. Imagine what could have happened in this game if Draven wasn't caught like this, if Ekka didn't get caught like this, like all those stupid mistakes, really. I don't want to be BMing the players here, but that was very uncalled for. That was like an unforced error from Vega Squadron. And engage by a hook from distance when you have Morgana, this is not something that you expect to happen. So yeah, you see the replay of Santos and Doxy putting on their hero capes, trying to do as much damage as possible, maybe get a few kills. Doxy runs in, but the boss just flashes away from the pit. Good ulti from Santos, which guarantees basically the kill onto Nomans, and unfortunately Doxy isn't able to pick up more than 1 kill. Right now, Doxy ulted, Nomans has to dash away. The stun from actually Ekka connects, he flashed in, and that was enough to pick up a kill onto Nomans, and that's actually a 2nd kill because Edward got killed before. We haven't seen that.
I feel like, in general, that Baron play was worth it for Unicorns of Love because their goal is to solve for 5 minutes longer. Yasuo will get his item, Xayah will get her item, and maybe Boss will get his Terax. Also, Maron Amikon on the side of Gragas. When they get all those items, they're stronger in a clear 5v5, regardless of one Infernal Drake.
That is true. That is true. And taking the Baron is not... Like, they didn't need to utilize the Baron to, like, push the waves and get the inhibitors or something.
Just take it away.
They took it away from Vega Squadron, which is much more important because that means that Vega cannot do the same thing. They cannot push. And we know that, as we said before, that the 4-range champions with the Nasher buff, they're going to just demolish the turrets without actually Unicorns of Love even having a chance to defend against that. So yeah, right now we still have a little bit of advantage in favor of Vega Squadron. They're putting up a good fight, which is very nice to see considering how the first game went. Right now they have a more classic Vega Squadron draft with the Syndra, with Elise.
And Draven Morgana, yeah.
With Draven Morgana and even Renekton. I mean, all the good matchups like everywhere around the map, which is a good sign. Well, but we still know, yes, that the Unicorns of Love are outscaling their opponents, and in a full-on 5v5, straight up, they're just gonna win.
But a bad sign that Unicorns of Love are getting caught from time to time, and that might, I wouldn't say lose them a game, but if they get caught like in 2.5 minutes, they might lose Nasher. And as you already mentioned, with 4 ranged champions, sieging with Nasher is very easy. And Unicorns of Love have to be very careful in 2 minutes not to get caught. Boss is taking turret, by the way, freely.
Freely, he's not being answered by anyone from the side of Vega Squadron. We saw that Unicorns tried to get a quick kill on that Crocodile in the top lane, but Doxy just dodged the Geralt's, the Gragas' ultimate, and I wanted to say Gragas' barrel, and I said Geralt. Anyway, right now they're actually cornered. And there is a good hook on to Discoteca. He has to use the Zhonya's, but this is not gonna help. He is just dead immediately. Another hook connects right now onto Creox. He's just gonna run away. They were in a very bad position. at the very start of it. There was no way Echo could run anywhere, and he didn't have flash because he used it in a previous encounter when he flashed and stunned Nomans to get a kill.
Zaya got her 3 items already, so she's kind of equal with Draven, and that's a bad sign for a Draven when Zaya is equal when he had a winning matchup.
He had the winning matchup, he had the pressure in the map, on the map to net him some gold.
Okay,
right now
Santos is
Santos is
engaging.
ulting.
Ananasik using
Ananasik used the barrel very poorly, I'd say. He pushed Doxy into the fight, and Nomans is just demolished by that crocodile. Ananasik is on the front line, but he's gonna get killed by Gadget. Now Doxy is in his GA, and Discoteca is trying to stun someone. He snipes Boss from distance, and now Inex and Edward are trying to run away. Edward is gonna be the sacrificial lamb in this scenario. He tries to get a kill onto Santos. He gets it, but Discoteca murders his ADC in response. And that's an ace by Vega Squadron.
I feel like I need to say the phrase from solo queue. This Yasuo feels useless to me. He just doesn't do anything. Like,
oh my god. Yes, I mean, at least in this fight, he was useless. Renekton just sliced and diced him into pieces.
yeah, and fight started like very well for Unicorns of Love. They caught Discoteca and they chased and they got like killed because of their mistake.
And right now, Vega Squadron are gonna go for the Nasher. This is the play that they were waiting for the entire game. They got the winning fight. They managed to pick up some kills.
CP
Right
is
now,
coming.
Discoteca has to try to do something, not to let Ananasik
almost
into the
killed.
pit. Ananasik is just gonna die to Doxy, but on the other side, we see that Eka is dead as well. Nasher is already killed. Good
Doxy's
binding
going
coming
forward.
in from Morgana, and now Edward is gonna try to run away, but he's gonna get killed by Gadget, who's now unstoppable. Boss is running away from Doxy, but another good binding from Santa's Lance, and that means that Boss is gonna lose his GA and his life after that. And he loses it. As I said, what a good prediction by me.
Very sloppy play from Unicorns of Love in the last 3 minutes. They gave up Nasher just for the lose because they overchased, and right now they try to contest that, but you're playing Gragas, man, and there's a 2 or 3 item Syndra against you. Try to dodge something, maybe?
I mean, it's very hard to dodge something like Syndra's ultimate, to be fair, but
He didn't
that
have
wasn't.
it.
He didn't have it. He just basically got stunned by Syndra and chunked, and then killed by that crocodile, the bloodthirsty Doxy, who is now 4-1-6 actually. And we saw that Draven got so many kills in those 2 fights. Let's see the replay here. Discoteca basically sacrificed himself in order to force Ananasik to die, and this is the fight where I'd say Santos shined, because he landed 1 biting onto Edward and then another one onto Boss when he was trying to run away. Bam! The binding connected. And that means that basically 2 team fights in a row were just dominated by Vega Squadron. They got the Nasher, they got the gold lead right now. They're feeling very comfortable.
Yeah.
And we see that there's the battle cry of Kraos. Harosh!
I feel like Santos is the low-key MVP of this game. Personally, for me, he has 15 Q participation out of 17, and he's doing a really good job on Morgana. After 25 minutes, it's the time when Morgana usually became kind of not useless, but it's hard to be useful on her after certain minute mark, and he's playing really well.
You have the binding, you have the good shield. That's basically all your job. Santos had a couple good ultimates, and to be fair, he was an anti-hero for me in the very beginning because he missed the shield on Gadget when he got hooked in the mid lane, which basically netted some advantage to Unicorns of Love. But then he made up for it. Right now, he's on a very good side of the game and good side of my judgment.
And he started that play on top lane. He turned around with his ultimate.
Yeah, and at that moment, I feel like Ananasik there knocked Doxy into his team.
Yeah, Ananasik is not having a particular good game, I think. Okay.
Bo comes
Vega's
in, almost
sieging.
actually engages onto Kraos, but this is not the brightest of ideas. Another tornado hits, another binding hits actually onto Boss. The stun is there. Nice. I wanted to say nice shield from Santos, but there was a very poor Zhonya's from Eka. He doesn't trust his teammate.
But still, they get this tower, and I think that they are gonna take inhibitor as well.
I mean, that's the Siege Minion MVP
Yes.
right there with the Baron buff. The ulti comes
Engage goes.
from Edward. Ooh, Inex just got chunked just by the Whirling Death alone, and he has to disengage right now. There is no way they can fight this. That was just the ulti from Draven that just almost murdered Xayah.
Draven has 3 AD items plus Inferno. How much? How many AD he has right now?
I
I
actually
think
don't
like
know.
350, maybe 370. Doxy has 370, and Doxy has less AD items in terms of raw AD.
Yeah, you actually were right about the Yasuo build with the Bloodthirster, which makes him a lot tankier. He has the passive shield, now he has the BT shield on top of that with the added hidden shield of the Phantom's Dancer. But I think that the main problem is that Unicorns of Love were never able to find that good combination of the Gragas ult and Yasuo ult, or Nautilus ult and Yasuo ult, except for that one time when Santos actually missed his shield in the mid lane. All the others were kind of low-key, unimpressive. I mean, they have the QSSs now. They have the QSSs now, so they're not going to be so easily picked off by the range CC like Morgana or Elise. But is it going to be enough to save them from burst if the CC does land? I'm not sure, because when Gadget has the Whirling Death available, whenever someone gets hit with a biting or something like that, and there is no Yasuo wall, with the stun from Syndra and the Whirling Death, it should be enough to burst almost anyone down. Because, as we said, Unicorns of Love are not that tanky themselves. Yes, Vega is like almost full squish setup, with the small exception of Crocodile, who has some HP under his belt. But otherwise, it's just squishy on squishy, and squishy helps. The knock-up lands onto Santos, but the Nomans cannot actually ulti in this moment.
Do they go for the tower? It's 30 seconds till Nashor.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they're still in this area. Actually, another good binding lands onto Ananasik, but I mean, there is the pressure coming from the 2 waves of super minions that are coming in the base of Unicorns of Love, and they cannot actually just freely go S5 to fight Vega Squadron around Nashor, because otherwise they're gonna use the TPs to try to end the game.
Okay, Doxy TPs on top lane. They're gonna prepare Nashor. They catch Boss.
He has to use the stopwatch. He has the GA, so he can win some time for his team. And Anasik is on the chase right now. They have to try to push the wave past the middle of the lane. In the mid lane, another binding is sent, but it's not gonna find the target. Right now, Vega Squadron is in good position to try to search for something. An inhibitor actually respawned in top lane, which should be a relief for Unicorns of Love. Are they going to trade the objective? They're trading. Yes, they're trading. They're trying to go for the Elder Dragon when Vega Squadron is picking up Nashor, and the Whirling Death is sent actually by Gadget.
Syndra is tipping top.
Syndra is TPing top immediately. I would say I would expect Syndra to TP maybe somewhere around the Elder. Or Echo just wants to push the wave. That was a very weird TP, I'd say. What did he get from it?
Is he going for an inhibitor? No. No, he backs off. Maybe they just want to take it? No,
they're backing off. Usually, whenever you trade Elder for Nashor, you have to realize that one of the key differences is the fact that Nashor gives you empowered recall, whereas Dragon doesn't give you any advantages in terms of recall time, which means that the enemy team can be the first one to force something to get the turret or something like that. But in this case, it was basically nothing. And Unicorns of Love, they do have 3 elemental dragons under the belt, so they should feel comfortable with this Elder Dragon buff.
But Nashor lasts longer. So if Vega can hold up a bit for 2 minutes... Oh, what a flash from Edward.
That's a yikes, I would say.
Yeah, if Vega can survive next 2 minutes without fighting, they have like 1 minute space to maybe force 2 inhibitors mid-top.
I don't think they shouldn't fight. I think they should fight
carefully.
Because they're squishy, but they do have the catch potential. So
full items on Draven already, by the way.
Yes, it's the Draven that has the full... No, not full
75 crit chance.
75% crit chance. Xayah has 100. But Draven looks scary as well. He has the GA. on top of that, so he's not gonna get bursted down that easily, and he has some sustain to work with when he pops up.
Look
from
at the
his
Renekton
G.
build. He has Thorn Mail, GA, and Tabis. I think he's really tanking for the side of Vega. He can tank a lot from the AD
Another
damage.
nice binding lens
Yes.
onto Ananasik. He has to use the stopwatch here, otherwise he would have been dead just by the Syndra's burst. They got the turret in the bottom lane. Right now, so much damage is coming from that poke from Syndra. And the Elder Dragon buff is almost done with. He's going to be done with in like 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And we don't have a buff anymore. Do we?
I think it shows like they do, but
You shouldn't. I mean, it lasts 2.5 minutes, right?
yes, yes.
Anyway, they right now they have to recall because Vega Squadron was pushing the mid lane. There is no turret. They do have some protection because they can force a fight, but you have to pick your target because you cannot focus Kraox. He has the
Doxy
repel.
split pushing.
Doxy is split pushing right now. They have to answer to that as well.
Engage from Edward. Ooh, Ananasik! He
Ananasik
flashes.
is done for, but Santos, do you have the stopwatch? He actually has. Kraox is already dead, and a good knock-up from Ananasik. It knocks away Doxy and Syndra, but Nomans just flashes in. I mean, Discoteca flashes in and kills Nomans, and on this other side of the fight, we see that Doxy and Gadget are trying to chase down their opponents. Actually, Gadget just turns onto Inhibitor, and now Boss is running away from Doxy. One auto attack deals like 500 damage to Boss. That's a 3-for-2 exchange in favor of Unicorns of Love.
And they save their inhibitors. Ooh!
The
Rest in peace,
GA
GA.
is gonna pop from the damage of Death Dance. Something that was used to protect him now was used against him. Still, a good fight from Unicorns of Love. They managed to come out on top in this fight because of a very good Gragas knockback, because he knocked back Discoteca and Doxy, and basically Discoteca had to flash in to kill Nomans. We see the engage coming onto Santos actually, and Nomans ults immediately, then he has to use the stopwatch to survive. Good Santos ulti actually holds some of the players in place, and now Gadget flashes in, tries to go on Inex, but Inex survives with a sliver of HP left, and we see what happens to Edward when he has no aftershock left. He just melts under the damage of this Draven. So yeah, a lot of things happen, but Doxy still has his GA, so does Gadget. We see that another...
Discoteca?
Discoteca is in a very bad position. What are you doing, mate? He's just gonna get killed. What was that positioning from the mid laner of Vega Squadron?
What do Unicorns of Love can take because of that Discoteca's int?
I mean, they can
Tier 2
get...
tower. Boss has TP. Boss has TP. Maybe he TPs. Yes. He goes for teleport. They want inhibitors.
They want the mid lane inhibitor, and they're gonna get it for sure, because there's no way Vega Squadron can do something in a 4v5 scenario here. Actually, another inhibitor is naked there in the bot lane, so it's gonna fall as well. 2 inhibitors are gonna get taken by Unicorns of Love just off of that terrible positioning mistake from Discoteca. Doxy was in a flank position, and I would assume that you want to find a fight there, but not with that. Not with Syndra walking up to get immediately knocked up in the air by Ananasik, and that means that Nomans can ult, and that means that the Syndra is very, very, very dead. Now we see the response from Vega Squadron. They're trying to push the lane there in a completely opposite scenario right now. Right now it's them who don't have the inhibitors, and it's them who has to go for the
Drake?
Elder Drake, because otherwise the Unicorns of Love are going to have the 5-minute second Elder Drake buff, which is not something that you want to deal with.
I also think that Unicorns of Love will be okay with trading that, because if they get Nashor, they can just go top lane as 5 and maybe try to end the game because of big
they're
minions.
starting the
Yes,
Nashor.
It's not a trade. They're gonna fight.
There is going to be a fight, and right now it's going to be Doxy who's going to get focused now. Santos is ulted by Nomans, but Nomans is going to get just demolished by Eka and his team. And right now it looks like it's a fight for Vega Squadron. Inax can kite. Feathers don't loot anyone. It's a double kill for Krayox actually, and now Vega Squadron are in the position to finish the game. What? Do they want to do it? We see a teleport from Gadget. They're doing it. They're going for a finish. The inhibitor falls. Another TP is going to come in. It's just Inax who has to try to defend versus Draven. He has the ulti, but the Draven has the damage, and Doxy is there. It's the end of the line for Inax. He dies, and it means that we are going for more than 3-0. More than 3-0. 1-1. Vega equalizes the score in this series with an amazing performance. What an amazing game. So many back and forth. That was, I mean, that was interesting to watch.
I agree, completely agree. Also, the main events that were happening in the game was because of mistakes. So the next game will be after the tie, after 1-1 between the teams. And I think that whoever mental is stronger will win the third game.
That is true, but we have to remember that this time it's going to be Unicorns of Love who are going to be choosing the side.
They're going to go for blue.
They're going to go for blue again, right? Anyway, that was just the second game of this amazing series. The score is 1-1. The third game is coming around, so do not go anywhere.
And stay hyped for the game 3.